Well, today I'd like to tell you a little bit, maybe a short abbreviated version of my experience as parent of a deaf child. My daughter was born deaf, and she was diagnosed at 4 months at Strong Hospital with a neurosensory hearing loss. She has a severe to profound in the left ear, and in the right ear she's profoundly deaf. And we found out later that it's a genetic thing that's handed down in our family on my husband's side. So after we received the news, we were, needless to say, upset, and we knew it was coming. I had known from 2 weeks of age that something wasn't quite right. But, we were crying, especially after the doctors handed us the can't list. She'll never this, she'll never that, blah, 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 blah. So, but it was short-lived because God provided, and we went out to the parking lot. Installed behind our car was a woman who had child with severe issues. So my husband helped get her car going, and she explained what was going on, and she was very upset, and we found out that her child most likely wasn't going to live in the next year. So that ended our crying days right there. So we had half a day of crying and moved on, said we have a healthy child. But we were still confused. How are we going to communicate with this kid? We were really clueless. And it was before the time of the internet, so I had to go to the library and research for hours, all about deaf ed, anything I could find. And we also had this really great thing happen that Jeff's aunt, who had no connection with deaf people or anything, was just fascinated with the language, took sign language classes the year before. So put us in contact with a teacher. We took some classes from her, and she happened to be a teacher of the deaf. And she just said, language is what you need to do with this kid, and treat her just like any other kid. Read her books and just expose her as much as you can. So we said, great. And also, Jeff's uncle, who was one of 9 kids on his mom's side of the family, is deaf, and not much contact with the family. Now, for obvious reasons of communication, we'd see him once in a while at a family get-together, and he'd be off in the corner with his wife and kids. So he immediately found out, contacted us, so happy, and told us all about Rochester School for the Deaf. So we went there and took classes, our really first true ASL classes with deaf teachers. So that was just an amazing experience, and we got to meet deaf people for the first time. I had this, one of my first classes, this little teenage girl, about 16, came in and was going to be my teacher. I'm like, okay, really? Like, what can this kid teach me? But we got to be such good friends, and she was very supportive, and this was really great, and it's really what we needed, because at that time it was very close to the Gallaudet kind of uprising, deaf power, and deaf president now, and there was a lot of hostility in the deaf community, and we were really being attacked. Take the hearing aids off the kid, and she's our kid, not yours. And I'm going, whoa, I'm trying to reach, learn your culture, and you want anything to do with me, you just want my kid. But she was like, we're not all like that, just like any other culture, and she was very supportive. She even invited us to her graduation, and the speaker was I. King Jordan. So it was just fantastic. Overwhelming because flying hands when we walked in the auditorium, but a great experience. So moving on, my daughter went into the deaf program there at RSD, deaf infant program, and she was doing well, but really she was trying to speak and was trying to do other modes of communication. They really weren't meeting her needs, and educational levels really weren't there, so was trying to investigate. And we found out that our county refused to do anything but the schools for the deaf. They'd never done anything but, and we wanted other options. So that was our first big battle. So not only now did I have to be an expert in audiology, speech therapy, and deaf education, but I had to learn the educational laws and plunged into that. And we were able to win that battle and got our other services, and it was about a 6-month battle. So it was really time consuming, but it really helped prepare me for the future of what was to come in her educational program. And from that, I got a job as an educational advocate, even though my degree is in environmental sciences, total opposite, and got into social service work. So we progressed into that, and we decided to experiment with a mainstream nursery school program. And we got her an interpreter and from Sign Language Connections here in Rochester, and they were a wonderful support system too. Nancy Burloff was wonderful in educating us in interpretive use and educational interpreting. And we were able to teach Alicia how to use an interpreter, what the appropriate uses were, and she was doing great. And we were working with a school from age 3, and here she is at age 4, and we're thinking, okay, we're going to mainstream her, and we got everything set, and we're talking, and all of a sudden the school called me and said, we need to meet. So we went in for the meeting, and they said, we're not going to allow her in the school system. We're going to make her go to RSD or school number 1. And I was like, total shock. We've been planning this and working together, and all of a sudden you're changing it? And he said, yes, and you have no options, or we'll see you in court. So, of course, we said, see you in court. So this progressed, and they didn't have a leg to stand on. He had talked to the people in Albany and said, least restrictive environment, which I already knew, least restrictive environment. So they had to accept her, and they finally did back down. We had another meeting, they accepted her. So we did set up everything. The teachers have to go through extensive training every year. All the staff, cafeteria workers, bus drivers, and they even teach sign language classes there so the children can learn sign. And it's just been a really great experience for her. She's still, we participate in deaf events here in Rochester because we live an hour away. But she feels, I think, part of both worlds at this point. And I know there'll be struggles to begin with. Now, as she's getting older, we're starting. Let me back up, but starting to get into some of the struggles of where do I fit a little bit. But at least she has the access to both worlds. And it's just been a really interesting experience to become a hearing parent of a deaf child. And you're just picked up and thrown into, basically just plunged into this unknown world and this unknown culture. But I think it's your attitude that really matters. And if you look at it as an adventure and this great experience, then you're okay. And you don't sit there and go, complain, complain, complain. This is just terrible. My life is terrible. But you just thank God for the perfect little child He's given you and everything that He's exposing you to. And it's just opened up tremendous worlds for us. And I would just, I guess, hope that everybody would maybe look and support parents a little more, maybe, by listening to this story.